we had anything planned for tonight? Did we say that last week?
Not that I recall.
Okay, well, on a goody wahi ka joke was so don't see us nyari. Kasi does it you just ka we no ji on just queen is star no ta roni. Retino wada do kurunga gari a guess. Yeti sota se tanka garako dano yeti ne stars yo zage dano guego scott ne ganongwe. De tino wada do a guides ni ganyat de gero dano a guego o quadri ano conso de tino wada do sao yerda de tino wada do yeti sota gunha ne rona de headstone ne gani go ri or adi hawa koi Yonki up again, dam dawe on hetsera, gazat stasera, neganungwe. Dam dawe on hetsera, asat niga dardige, ganyanga haga. Radin hapto, roni dan risk dewage. Dam dawe on hetsera, agwego on a gordo, gayana rasera go on escana. Dano on hetsera, scana. Kazakhstan dano gari wagwari shinsira dano damdawi kanigu rio dano gayandawana. Okay, so as everybody knows that whenever we get together that we always have to carry out on the gari wadekwa first, the words that come before all else. This is where we give thanks to and identify the things in creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. Now, you hear us talking a lot about Honda Gari Wadekwa. You hear Wayagerdo talking about it. Of course, he can talk about it more from the language perspective. For myself, just to identify to everybody that a Honda Gari Wadekwa is something that should be on your mind all the time. I mean, when would there not be a moment where you would not be thankful for that moment, for the experience that you are having? Unless you're, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, you know, like you're getting violated or something. In a natural lifespan, everybody is experiencing things on a daily basis that are magical, that are impossible. And so when we consider that we are able to experience the impossible, experience magical things on a daily basis, just to open your eyes and to see a blue sky or a gray sky, if it's a sunny day or a rainy day or a bright blue, perfectly sunny day, bright blue sky, regardless. From the moment that you wake up in the morning, there is a world of everything to be thankful for, to keep yourself centered in the creation that we are a part of. Whereas what we see right now today, that everybody around the world is being confronted with an issue right now. And this is about the mortality, not only of the individual, of oneself, but the mortality of the planet, of our Mother Earth, the mortality of the collective of species on Earth. We're watching on a daily basis different species disappearing. Some of us have heard, as of recent, within the last year, that maybe, say, in the last 5 years, you might have heard, oh, the northern white rhino population was dying off, that it was dwindling. And then you might have seen over the last couple of years that the last remaining white rhinos had a 24-hour four-man armed guard watching them, standing around this rhinoceros. And then you may have heard last year that the last one died. So this is something that is a reality and something that we are all becoming aware of, regardless to what degree you are aware of it, we are watching the diversity of life disappearing on us, disappearing from us right under our eyes on a daily basis. So what this means is that there's an imbalance in the world of people thinking about destroying the very creation that we need to survive, and the people who are thinking peace, who are thinking love, who are thinking the good thoughts that we are supposed to have so that we can manifest those good thoughts to become the world that our children grow up in. So there is obviously this great imbalance. And where the imbalance is, or what it consists of, is the imbalanced male dominant mind against the mind of peace, against a mind that understands and works within the natural orders of creation, that identifies that the life giver is the primary and the life protector is the secondary. So we're going to go into this tonight to identify it, talk about it, so that we learn it, that it becomes intrinsic into our system, into our thought patterns, that you wake up in the morning and you are grateful, that you are thankful, that you can open your eyes, that you can still see. A lot of people wake up in the morning without being able to see. Open for the first time. They can't see, they are blind. This happens to a lot of people as they get older. Some people, it happens to them when they're younger. But think of this, of being able to see the beautiful bright blue sky, and then the next day not being able to see it. So you think of it as the last time that you might ever get to see it. And you interact with it like as if it was the last time you'll ever get to interact with it. And this way, our existence, our way of being is going to be within the, we could say, the straight and narrow, where one of the examples are given of like driving down a highway. Yes, you can be right in the middle of the lane, which is the best place to be, you know, the safest place, or you can be off to the shoulder, you know, and where it's a pavement shoulder, or you can be off of that shoulder onto where it's just gravel. Now, if you're onto the shoulder, well, you're relatively safe. You can still keep driving. But if you're onto the shoulder where it's gravel, well, if you keep up the same pace as if you're driving in the middle of the highway, then this will ultimately grab your wheel, make you spin out of control. And so the idea here, what we're identifying, is that life is like the path that we're on. There is a straight and narrow to it. There is a parameter, you know, of where you have leeway, of you're still kind of safe. If you're driving on the shoulder, you're still kind of on that highway. But we have to look at how recklessly the society has been led down this path, down this road. We're all
Sorry, we got cut off.
down this path, down this road.
Oh.
We're all okay. So we're going to talk about tonight about the balance, and this, just to get the idea here, Wayagero, is that we're looking at differences. We're looking at from this side to that side, the way it's supposed to be, the way that it is, the way of peace, and the exact opposite of the way of war. So we're going to continue, like last week we were talking about. I think we started off identifying of the within the longhouse. So again, we'll start from there. Within the longhouse, the Mullers are identified as the authority. Did we ever do this?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to make sure now, this is for everybody, let's think together about the examples we're gonna come up with and to try to remember if we've done these examples before and to try to keep it away from things that we already identified, and only the areas of where we have. And the second line, you can put, they are the owners of the house. Baby boys are born into her house through her clan. Negwadi, what does that mean exactly, Wayagerdo?
Negwadi?
Yeah,
That's like it fills a couple of roles, like within that side. Your English is nowhere close to our Kanienkeha. That's why when we go back to English and it's hard for me. Like I look at it and I say, well, we're two different races of people with two different thoughts. There's no way we could think like them. So we never, that's why our language was oral, is we never had to translate it to nobody. People had to learn our language because it's our law. Once you make a law, our law would be torn apart in a court if you took it and gave it to English or the French. We would mean nothing. We would have a double meaning where we'd be giving it away. For us, we continue, we hold right on to it. And we can only feed you tidbits of what you should be understanding. And I'm not just picking on the French and the English, the Germans, Russians, everybody else, the rest of the world. So to have a direct translation, it's impossible. You don't have it within the French and English, right?
well,
And the Parisians and the Quebecois. So that's in their own language. So that don't expect us to bend.
well, the thing is that from the foundation of the of Kanienkeha, that any language can attain the knowledge that's contained within our language. All we have to do is translate it. We're not going to find a word that exists, like you said. Some words exist, it could be a direct translation. But as you said, as you know, that a lot of words in Kanienkeha are concepts are sentences within English or French. So this is our responsibility to then translate the knowledge contained in Kanienkeha, which is the language of peace. And so therefore all the knowledge within it is about peace. So this is our responsibility to translate this to the rest of the world. The rest of the world may not want it, may not even know. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of us educating the people who are uneducated.
Well,
This
Nagwadi is within the longhouse, but we can't start a sentence with Nagwadi.
yeah.
Should be reversed, but we can't. We're talking about the longhouse, and then Gatnistansara, of course, which is the mothers, and then Tkunutus, decide on everything, and then your other next, they are owners of the house, Tkudinus Sagwet Neo. Tkudinus Sagwet Neo. So I don't know, we don't have to break Ganusesne, Nagwadi, we don't, Ganistansara, not anymore. Just those bottom words, two words. Tkunu, tkunu, tkunu. Right at the H. Tkunu, and then tkunu at the H again. Sagwet at the E. Sagwet neo, tkudinus sagwet neo, tkunuctus, gatnistansara, negwadi, ganusesne.
Can you say that last word again?
Tkunuctus.
No, the last word.
Tkudinus sagwet neo.
Kundinu. Okay, put a break to Gundi, TI, after the TI. Gundinu. Gundinu, Sagwenio. Gundinu, Sagwenio. Does that look all right with that break there like that?
Yeah. Well, it's for use. Your breaks for use. I can see pretty well. And like me, I'm judging now by how long we've had these classes and who's in the class. There's just a few odd new people, but most, you don't want to be ganusesne. You don't want to be breaking that up, or else you shouldn't be in the class. You should have. It should be embedded, and it should be ingrained in your head now.
Ganusesne, negwadi, ganistasira, tgununduns.
Yeah.
Tgundinun sagwetniu.
Right on the money.
Ganusesne, negwadi, ganistansera, tkununtuns, tkundinun sagwetnio.
Ganusesne, negwadi, ganistansera, tkununtuns, tkundinun sagwetnio.
Marc.
Ganusesne, negwati, ganistansera, tkununtuns, tkuntinun sagweniu.
Very good, Mark.
Joseph.
Ganusesne, negwati, ganistansera, tkonohotons, tkontino sagwenio.
Very good, Joseph.
Elsa.
Ganusesne, negwadi, ganistansera, tkunutuns, tkundinu sagwenio.
Very good.
Harold.
Ganusesne, negwati, ganistansera, tkununtuns, Nun sagwenio.
Janet,
Kanosesni nakwadi kanistansara kuno dons kundinon sakwadinyo.
Miles,
Okay, you can hear me. Huh? Okay.
Yes, we
Ganesh Guardi, Ganesh Chancellor, to go Nuntus, go Dini, no Saguenio.
Ganoseste negwadi ganistansera conuntus continum saguetnio. Teotuetnuni, the order for today is Longhouse, Marie-Claude, Edith, then Mark, Joseph, Elsa, Harold, Janet, Miles, and me.
Okay, just for everybody to grasp something here, like what Guayagero said, you can't start a sentence saying neguadi. So when you're thinking of word for word translation, the sentence in English being within the longhouse, we have to understand that in Kanienkeha, what you hear as longhouse, you hear that in English, you're thinking of two things that are combined into one. You're thinking of a long building and a house. So, but the description of longhouse, as you know, is more all-inclusive than just saying it's a building that we live in. Because when we refer to the longhouse, as everybody knows by now, that the longhouse is from where the sun rises to where the sun sets. So it is not a physical structure. It is not talking about any single building that we live in. The longhouse is everything. And so within that, if you're thinking in English, then you think, okay, the longhouse is everything, it's all creation. And you think it's trees, it's mountains, it's lakes, it's rivers, it's worms, it's birds, so on and so on. And so then this is what has to be comprehended, is that when we say longhouse, we're saying first and foremost all of creation. So this is always what our reference is, all of creation. And then whatever you're saying about it, if you're saying within, then of course, this is the reason why negwadi fits after, you know, like the English and the, like the first word and the second word in English seems to be switched. So just to understand that whenever longhouse is identified, that it's easy to lose track and to think that we're just quite simply talking about a long building that people live in. It is much more than this. So on a daily basis, if you ever say longhouse, you could spread that out in half a second, longhouse. Okay, now if you say this on a daily basis, then every time you say it, in your own mind, you think about everything that the longhouse is. To you, what is it? What is creation? What is this life? So then it becomes more than just trees and mountains and grass and everything that's here in creation. It becomes the story of you, the story of your mother, of your father, the story of people. It becomes the story of evolution. So there's much more to that simple term, Ganosesne. It's much more to it than just to know that it translates into being longhouse. Okay, are we ready for the next one?
Yeah, I just sent it to her, but that Kudino Saguetnio, the owner, they are the owners of the house that belongs up on the first line. And now the baby boys Ronanagerado Agonusagun Agotara Gun. I left that out. Eat it. Agotara Gun. All right.
Okay, hang on. I just got it. The last word over here Tukundinun Sawenio is they are the owners of the house, yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, so let me just move it right away before we go here.
Okay, Owira, at the last A, split it there. And then Radik saw, okay, Radik saw,
Iksa, yeah, oh, just one.
Radik saw Ogun, okay. Then Rona na. Rona na Gerado. And then Agonus, Agonusko, and then Agodara. Okay. Agodarago, Agonusko, Ronanagerado, Radiksa Ogoa, Oiraa.
Did you just read that backwards? I'm looking, where the heck are you reading? You started from the last word and went. Okay.
That's one thing about Kanienkeha, though, because I got another class. Is some see all this? If you read it backwards, it makes sense to, like it was a sentence.
So, hey, wait a minute. You know what? What do they call that? An anagram or you know what I'm talking about? Where the spelling of a word forwards or backwards spells the same word. Isn't that called like an anagram or something like that? Okay, whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is anagram.
Okay. Yeah, so just imagine in a whole sentence, not just one word, where the whole sentence says something backwards or forwards, you know, says the same thing. I'm sure why you're here, and this is something that here only right now only you would understand. Of looking at it, like you just said, you can read it backwards, you can read it forwards, right? It's the same thing. So do you find that a lot in every sentence, or is it?
Well, not, but in quite a few instances, you can say it like read it backwards, and it makes it it makes it correct. Like I've said before, in Kanienkeha, we don't have a left and a right. Doesn't exist. And I can prove it, but the powers that be do not like to be told because they got lied to. And now they believe the lie. So I'm the only person that, I'm not the only one. There must be others out there, but me, I'll say something. Is we don't have a left hand or a right hand. We have what, which is, what's the percentage of the whole world right-handed? So it's gotta be higher. It means the side you learn, it doesn't mean right. So for me, I'm right-handed too. And then your other side, they say is your left, and us, we just say your other arm. So if you're left-handed, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm trying to tell you. So that would be to the English, that would be your right side, your left. So it doesn't exist with us. The only time left and right became accepted is once they had all these laws. I mean, the government, you were either left of the government or right of it. Then now it makes sense.
You know, when you give the reference of the other arm, this makes, I draw the connections to the Hiawatha Wampum Belt, where it's known that the Kanienkeha are always on the left of the belt. But when I hear what you just said, then I see the parallels to how and why, oh, excuse me, the other nations, the Handsome Lake nations, the Christian ones, it was them who started to give reference to the Tuscarora as being under the arm, in the armpit, to start giving like a negative reference. You know, so I can, in what you're saying, I can see this common thread, you know, that is from Kanienkeha into English. Even through time, you can see the connections of that, of saying the opposite arm, and seeing
Well,
within.
we like somebody could turn around and say, well, Awayaged is dead wrong, doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. Because if somebody said, where does the Kanienkeha sit? I won't say at the right, I'll say from where the sun rises, and then the Senecas, to where the sun sets. Because we're a nature people, we follow everything in nature, so we cannot ever break from it.
You just gave a good idea. Remember, next Kanienkeha class, we're going to talk about Hiawatha Wampum Belt. It's going to give about all this direction, everything like that.
Okay.
Okay, Janet.
Yeah, thank you. I had a question, but before that, I wanted to make a comment, and I was thinking that there's no left or right because everything goes in a circle. But then I've traveled throughout and I see tribes where when they dance, they go clockwise, and they see us dance, they say we go counterclockwise. So I was wondering if Waigero knew anything about that in terms of clockwise, counterclockwise,
Well, they're
as opposed
colonized.
to left
Obviously,
and right.
anybody that believes that is colonized. With us, we always follow, look, we follow the three sisters when the Orhotridi grows. Which way does it go? Which way does the pole beam go? It goes counterclockwise. I mean, I'm not even saying counter. I'm wrong by saying that. It's going in an opposite direction of the norm to European way of thinking.
Okay.
It's like the swastika. If you get the German the Third Reich swastika, if you put it's a native sign, but it goes the other way and it goes counterclockwise. Previous to the Nazis, that sign was used a lot of places, but after the Second World War, it's taboo. But if you reverse it, they'll tell you right away it belonged to the Native Americans because they were going with nature.
Okay. Thank you.
When you're looking at the direction of the dances, now today, because of the powwows, everybody is dancing the same direction, clock. They're all dancing clockwise. Here you come to the powwow in Ganawagi, they're dancing clockwise. They mix their dances. What people don't remember anymore is that the ones who dance clockwise are the people out west. They are in, there's a division right down the center of the continent. And if you ever go across the continent, you'll see, and I didn't believe this until I seen it when I walked across the country in 2015. But right in the middle of the continent, there is from north to south, there's a big ditch, a big division, a big ditch that goes right down the center of the continent. anyways, it's this division that is a natural division, just like in our body. If we're thinking of left or right, or front or back, you know, if you're looking at your sideways, well, there is going to be a certain part where it's the center, where from there, this is going to be front and that's going to be back. So there is natural divisions upon the land that are basically created the way of the people. It created the territories, and in that way, just like the way that the northern and southern hemisphere is divided, you know that right in the equator, there is a difference in the waters in the ocean in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So there is a natural divider in all things that identify what's on this side and what's on that side. And so just like in our arms, our hands, our left or our right, for lack of a better explanation right now, my right arm can only bend a certain way, and my left arm can only bend a certain way also, but equally opposite. So the division, the natural division creates the way of the things that grow out of that body. And so the way of the things that grow out on one side, they go this way, like on the right side of our body, our arm bends inwards. Side, it bends this way. So as it is also within the dances of the people. But this is also something that is extrapolated from the larger mechanics of our Mother Earth. We talked about this before. When you look at the Antarctic, that what the Antarctic is, you're looking at this and knowing that this so-called Antarctic is in a body of water, then it tells you something, tells you what this body is. What it is it's a turbine. And so as the earth turns, that turbine turns. And so that turbine then turns the waters of our Mother Earth. It's what rotates and makes the currents, the ocean currents, rotate the way that they do. And so the direction of things is not just something that we come up with here. You say, oh, well, you know what? Maybe the pole beams, as they climb up the pole, maybe that's the way that things go. Well, it's not the pole beams that determine that. It's the pole beams that expose that fact to us, but it starts on the planet right there from the Antarctic in that turbine action that has the entire Earth rotating in the same direction as our DNA. So knowing that the female is that initial action, then all that is female is counterclockwise. Then what is male is clockwise. So anyways, and that gets extrapolated into everything, absolutely everything in creation. Okay.
We didn't repeat it yet.
All right.
Can you read it again?
Yeah, please.
Oira'a radiksa ogoa runanagerado agonusku agotarago.
Oira'a radiksa ogoa runanagerado agonunsku agodarago.
I'm sorry, Margaret. For this one, wouldn't it be better to break it like that? Agodarago.
No.
To you. It's up to you.
I'll go.
Oira'a radiksa ogoa runanagerado agonunsku agotarago.
Oira'a radiksa ogoa runanagerado agonunsku ogadarago.
Oira'a Ratiksa Oguna, Ronena Geradun, Agonusku, Agodarago.
Owiraa, Radiksa, Ogon, Ronana, Geroton, Okonoskon, Agodaragon.
Very good, Joseph.
Owira, Radingsa, Oguna, Ogua, Ronana, Geradu, Agonusku, Agodaragu.
Way to go, Elf.
Oriraa, Radixa Agoa, Renona, Rununa Garadu, Agolunskun, Agodara.
Janet,
Sorry, I didn't know who I was after.
after Harold.
Okay, Nyawa.
Okay.
Owira Radiksa Agun Ronena Garadun Aguna Skon Agotarago.
Very good, Janet.
Miles,
Owira Radixa Oguna Rana Garadu Agonusku Agotaragu.
Owiraa, Ratiksa, Ogunha, Ronana, Gerado, Agununsko, Agodarago. Teotwetnuni.
Good.
No, for the English Wagiru, Rononagrado, what's that word?
Are born.
Are born into her. Okay, so into her house is Agonosco Agodarago.
Yeah. But let's see what that word you just asked me. Yeah, go nagerado. That's the boys' songs are born. The boys' songs. Put the songs. Every child, life giver or male, is a song. It's not a boy. It's not just like a boy. It almost sounds like it's like a thing, like a stone. But it's a song. So all life givers create songs, not boys or girls. They create songs. Garona is a song. It's very poetic. There's a
Okay.
that's why how can we be savages when we have a poetic? I mean, we are savages because we're free people. That's what savage is, to be a free person. A free
Okay,
thing.
let's incorporate that then, what you just said, into this.
Okay, what do you want to put in there?
Every child born of the life givers is a song.
Nevery? Okay.
Nevery.
Never.
Is a song of creation. Holy crap, you know what this tells us right there? What we were talking about a couple of weeks ago about IVF and test tube babies? Then it tells you that they are not a song. They are not a natural song.
Well, in English, you say they cry, but us, they don't cry. They sing their song when they're born. We're all born the same way, but we create a song. They create a sound, a cry. Anyway, I just sent it to eat it. Okay, aguego. We don't have to break that. Exa ogun'a.
So,
So ogun'a, then tkudun het tkudun. Tkudun hetsera rat. Tkudun hetserat. Tkudun hetserat gawas. And then yodiron. We'll break it in half. Yodiron nizo. So I'll read it backwards. Nizo. Tkudun hetserat gawas. Exa ogun'a aguego.
aguego exa agua tegundon hetzerat gawis yodiran nizo. Yodiran nizo.
Aguego, exa ogumba, con gawas, yodiran niso. Aguego, exa ogumba, kundon hetzerat gawas, yodiran niso.
Aguego, Exa Uguna, Kundu, etc. Gawas, Yotira Nisu.
Aguegon, exa agona, tokonton het sarat kawas, yoteren nison.
Aguego hexagona. Cuando necesitabas, yo tiranisu.
Wego exa agoa. Tkundun hetzerat gawas. Yodiron nisu.
Luego es exa ogun'a, tegundon etcétera quas, yoderen hizo.
Aguego exa ogunha, tkuntunet serat gawas, yodiran niso. Teyotwet nuni.
Hey, good. Hey, this morning I went into I went over here to check my lottery tickets, and this young lady was in there, and I could tell right away. I knew who she was, and I started to talk to her in Kanienkeha, and she was startled at first, and then she started to talk. It's a girl I see every 5 years, maybe. And I said, "What's new?" No, Diori was, and she says, "My auntie died. Nancy Armstrong Montour, and she was 93." And you know, I felt so bad. I said, "Oh my goodness, there's a woman. She spoke fluent Kanienkeha. If you know Bobby Delarone's mother, they're sisters. And those women, they usually die at 100. They usually die at 100 or over." And but I felt so bad for her. I says, it's like a bloody shame, you know. There's a history, there's a Kanienkeha dictionary that just went into the ground. I know her son doesn't speak it, her husband never spoke it. And this makes you think. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys.
Something that made me think about the words here in English. Every child born, the Gundun Hetzeratagawis identifies to us that the word born is not a properly descriptive word. To be born doesn't identify what the mothers actually do. You know, to be born, you think the mothers give birth. That's what you think of. This is what's in your mind when you're thinking of babies and people coming into the world, that the mothers give birth to them. No, the mothers don't just give birth to them. The mothers are exchanging them the mothers are the actual recycling process of creation, where each of us came out of that factory. And then we returned back into that same mechanism upon our Mother Earth, and to get filtered back into creation once again. So the mothers don't do something as simple as what the English word tells us. They bear children. No, this is not, does not just do justice to what the women do. So this is something also at a future time, we're gonna have to address what the mother actually does in this process of that exchange. Okay, anyways. Okay, Aguego, Eska, Agua, Exa.
We already said it.
We already did it.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Do we have something else? No? Okay, let me see. We try to give you a song of creation. When the male children are named in the Aduma, they are carried by the uncle up and down the longhouse. And their name is shouted to creation.
They are, what again?
What?
Repeat that. They are what did you say?
When the male children are named in the naming, they are carried by their uncle. Up and down the longhouse. And their name is shouted to creation. I'm gonna start writing the next thing.
And Joseph raised his hand just now.
What?
Joseph just raised his hand.
Okay, Joseph.
You're muted, Joseph.
When you say uncle, is that specifically the matrilineal, like the mother's brother? Or is it some other kind of connotation?
It's another connotation because, okay, I didn't finish writing, but me, any boy, even Stuart's boys, I'm an uncle to them. All men are uncles to any man, any boy younger than them.
Okay.
That's why we always, when we go to, like I go to Aguizasne, or I go here in town, I see a man, I know he's in his 80s, and I'll say Kanienkeha. He's not my physical uncle.
Gotcha.
Not related, but he's my, see, Kanienkeha means he's my minder. So we are to watch over all male boys younger than us. But we are also an uncle to somebody. We have an uncle, anybody older than us.
There's a concept in China, there's a word, susu, which is uncle, but I think it has the same meaning because it's fluid like that. It's not necessarily a relation, but it's a title of honor to an older male. So it's not the English version, it's more of a concept. All right. Thank you.
You said Susu?
Yeah, I know it's like susu or shushu, but yeah, it's from Chinese. I think it's Mandarin or Cantonese, but I'm sure they're all similar. But in the Chinese culture, they translate it as uncle, but it's more of an honorific title for an older male who's supposed to watch out for you.
That's for me. I draws on a memory. When I was younger, my uncle used to call his only son Susu. Susu. Call him that. And his name wasn't anything close to that, so you couldn't say like it sounded familiar, Okay, but here, when you're talking about in particular within the longhouse, then we have to remember that the longhouse is structured upon the clan system, and the people actually live in their clan houses. So I, being a wolf clan, live in my mother's house. And so when I am named by the person who is the head male in that house. So it's basically it's a chief. It could be a brother if they so wish, you know. But for the most part, it is the head title holder in that clan. So, like for myself, when I was named, I was held in the hands of our late Chief Joe Phillips, honored at Goa, and in that instance, walked me up and down the longhouse, shouting my name to creation. So my chief is my uncle, because my chief in that Wolf Clan house is an uncle to all the children in that house. But it's also like what Waiagerdo said. He's also an uncle to all the Turtle Clan and all the Bear Clan children. We're an uncle to everyone. But when it comes to protocols within law, of specifically like this naming within the Atua, then it is kept solely to the immediate uncle if they so wish, or else it goes right to the chief of that title, of that clan house. So you got to think clans. There's a baby being named in that house. What is the clan house? And then you'll know who is the chief that's naming that baby. And so this makes for a very strong clan. Myself, I am so strong in my clan, knowing that where I grew up in the longhouse, that I defend my chief, even right up until this day, 30 years after he's dead, when his own offspring speak against him. And I rise up to speak against his offspring when they speak against him. This is how tightly knit a clan is, because there's things that are done for you from the time that you are a baby, time that you're a child, born into the world, things that are done for you by that clan, that as you get older, you recognize, as I did. I know where my songs come from. I know where my ceremonies come from. I know where my knowledge of the Longhouse, Great Law of Peace, comes from. This all comes from my clan. And so much am I proud of my clan that I have made it my life agenda to spread, to teach that Great Law of Peace. This is what Wolf Clan does. Wolf Clan does things that individuals cannot do. And I could attest to that, because I know that in life there's things as an individual I could not do it. But as a clan, as one person within the clan, it can be done. You find a higher power that you tap into, almost on the equivalent of like what I shared with you before about how to make your own adrenaline, how to tap into your own upper lung capacity that creates the adrenaline within you. So this is like tapping into clan power. You tap into clan power, you can tap into things that you wouldn't think you're capable of. Okay, are we ready?
Okay, Nona, believe that. Radiksa O.
No.
Radiksa O. Goa. Okay. Ohua D.
Oh, wait, that's no good like that. That Rodixa. Between the A and the O.
Radiksa Ogoa. Ohua D. Dona. Garada de. Okay, gara, we'll make it easy for you. Garada de, and then ganusesne. Dehunwa, dehunwan, dehunwa. Na don. Dehuana donro. You at the H. You ne ne, put it after, yeah. You ne. You ne unwe. I'll read it backwards. You ne unwe. Dehuana doro. Ganusesne. Ohua di sanagarata de. Radiksa ogun. No, no. Without the no, we could read it backwards and make sense. Go ahead.
I'm looking for what gives reference to a dua in here?
Naming. That's when who di sanagarada de.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nona radiksa agua ahuwa di sanagarada de ganosesne tehuwa nadaro yuhne uwe.
Nona radiksa oguha o ahuwa tisana garadate ganonsesne tehuwa nadongo yon Nona radiksa oguha ahuwa tisana garadate ganonsesne tehuwa nadano yonne uwe.
Nuna radiksa uguna huwadi sena garadade ganusesne tehunwan nadaro yunhe uwe.
Nonen radiksa ogona en hovade sena garatade kanosesna tehomwa natenro ione onwe.
No radiksa ogona anumadi sana karatade kanoseste de tenuanata nataro yone uwe.
Nona, Padiksa Agoa, Ohumadi, Sa Gratate, Ganosesne, Dehonwa, Nadon, Ro, Yone, Onwe.
Nona radiksa ogun en hawadi sana en hongwadi zena garatade kanosesne ehunwa nada tehunwa nadaro yone unwe.
Nona radiksa ogunha honwadi sena garatate ganosesne tehunwa nadaro yonhe onwe. Teotwet nuni.
Okay, there's only I got a problem with the second line. Ahuwa di sanagarada de. Put an apostrophe between the de, between the A and the T. Because just like that, I could see it as I could easily mispronounce it. But like that, da de, gara da de. Ahuwa di sanagarada de. We can't put the TA with gara, right? It's not gara de. It's gara da de.
Yeah,
But
garada.
Okay, yeah, all right, leave it like that. Okay, do we have something else or not yet? What time is it anyways?
8:11.
Okay, tonight, we're gonna finish at 8:30 because of, there's, something we have to get done before this crazy curfew. That starts at 10. So tonight, we're gonna end at 8:30, but only for tonight though. The same does not have to be done for the baby girls.
Okay.
Or this does not have to be done. Yeah, be more simple instead of the same. This does not have to be done. Okay, let's start the next line while we're looking at that. The difference is the girls are the bloodline, while the boys are born into it. The girls are the continuous bloodline. It is a word, the boys are only, or the boys are just born into it. The boys are only, boys are just born into it. Difference is the girls are the continuous bloodline, while the boys are only born into it. While the boys are just born into it. While the boys you gotta find something else other than only or just. While the boys are born into it, there's got to be a transition. Something like loaned into it or borrowed into it. Or added to it. While the boys are added.
Okay. Dejat. Edith, Dejat. Dejat Tiha, and then Gudik Sa Ogun. Sa Agudik Sa Ogun, and at the A. N and A. Gudik Sa Ogun,
We even that word, leave it at Godiksa. Yeah.
okay, Gudik Sa Ogun, Yeyot Gun, Yeyot. Gunda. Yeyot Gunda Gun, AOD.
Okay, wait. Gundakwa. Put it after the KON and take out the one after the H. Gundakwa. Yeah.
Okay.
Gundakwa.
Put one at the O. O. Dinage. Raserago. Okay, Radiksa. Radiksa Ogun. Okay. Tonu. Okay, then put it at To. Tonue. Tonue. Ronana. Ronanagerado. Okay, I'll read it backwards. Ronanagerado. Tonue. Radiksa Ogun. Aodinagera Serago. Yeyut Kodakwa. Kudiksa Ogun. Dejat Tiha.
Okay, the first word. De. Dejat. Dejat Diha. Gondiksa Agua. Yeyot Gondakwa. Aodinagera Serago. Radiksa Agua. Tonue. Ronana Garado.
Okay.
Hard to see.
Dejatiha gondisa ogua, yeyot gundakwa, aodina veracerago, predixa ogua, dunue, ronana
Tejatiha Kundigsa Ogua Yeyo Gutakakwa Aotinage Raserago Radixa Ogua Tonue Runana Geradu.
De tiatehen, ontixa ogona, iotokon, taquen, eotinake, raseracon, radixa ogona, tononwe, ronana geraton.
Very good.
Dejatiha. Goniksa Guna. Yeot Kundagwa. Autinages Raseragu. Ratiksa Guna. Tonue Ronana Geradu.
Ejatiha, Gondiksa Agoa, Yeyokun Dagua, Aotinage, Rasarago, Wadiksa Agoa, Tonue, Panona Grado.
Okay, te jatiha kundiksa ogun a yeyot kun dakwa aunda onti nakara seragun radiksa ogun a dononwe ronena grado.
Tetiatiha kontiksa ugunha yeyot kundakwa autinagera zerago radisa ugunha dunue ronana gerado. Teyotuetnuni. We didn't do the sentence before.
When you guys kept reading it, something just was digging in my brain. Okay, yotkudakko. See that word, yotkudakko? Remember the word otko? It means the continuous power. It means yotkodako. Yotkodako means the continuous power of the birthrights of the males. Oh, of the women, of the female life givers. Yotkodako. So that's where it shows you in the words of the Kanienkeha how powerful the women, the life givers are. So that word there, it could have a double meaning, but it's a stronger meaning when you say yotkodaku. See, the difference with the girls are the continuous bloodline instead of continuous, the continuous power of the bloodline. Put power in the between continuous and blood. Power of the bloodline, yeah. And it gives it a lot of credence to the clan system and the life givers.
Okay, there's something we have to add on the end of this.
And
Oh.
wait, we didn't do the first line, the previous line to this one. This little one.
We didn't say it?
No, and we didn't break it and nothing. We just put it, but we didn't.
Tewateha nona undiksa ogua owiraa. Tewateha nona gundiksa ogua owiraa.
Tewatiha nona gundiksa ogua owari. Owira. Tewatiha nona gundiksa ogua owiraa.
Tewatiha Nuna Gundiksoguna Gua Owiraa.
Ewatihan nonan kontik sala gona awiraa.
Tewatiha. Sorry. Tewatiha nona kantik saoguna saoguna oira.
Tewatiha, Nona, Godiksa Agoa, Owiraa.
Dewatiha nona kondiksa ogun a owiraa.
Tewatiha nona kondiksa ogunha owiraa. Teyotuetnuni.
Okay.
Hey,
And it's 2025.
Okay, something's got to be added to the end of this. They are loaned or borrowed to the clan.
Borrowed or what?
Borrowed or loaned to the clan. Through the exchange. So this tells us that in the structure of DNA, that the women are the rungs, and the men, not the rungs, the women are the strands of DNA, and the male are the rungs that fit in between. So if we don't fit, we're the ones that get pulled out and cast away, but never the two strands. They don't ever get diffused back into creation. It's only the rungs that do that. So it's only the women that are the continuous line, and where the men are quite simply, as you know, as you see, that we pop up here and there. We're going where we need be, and even to the degree of where within the longhouse itself, a person of the wolf clan could be loaned to the bear clan or the turtle. We're getting on here. We're experiencing all climate zones in here today.
Okay, Guadidi, Guadi.
Give me a second, Oyagero, please. What B?
Yeah, Guadi Niha. And then Dara Gunwoliki or Da. Doganis will keep that as it is. Doganis, and then Gunwadi again. Gunwadi Niha. Gunwadi Niha. Dara Gun. Jidet Gunda. Jidet Gudados. I'll read it backwards. Jidet Gudados. Contaragon. Guadiniha. Doganis Contaragon. Guadiniha.
Guadiniha, Gondardago, Doganis, Guadiniha, Gondardago, Zidet Gundados.
Guadiniha, Dondarago, Doganis, Guadiniha, Dondarago, Citet Guntati. Guadiniha, Dondaragon, Doganis, Guadiniha, Dondaragon, Citet Guntado.
Gunwadi Niha, Gandaragu, Doganis, Gunwadi Niha, Gandaragu, Citet Gundatus,
Gunwadi Niha, Kentarokon, Doganas, Gunwadi Nihan, Kentarogon, Citet Contatons.
Guadi Niha. Gandaragon. Doganis. Guadi Niha. Gandaragon. Citet Contanos.
Guariniho, Contarago, Doganis, Guariniho, Contarago, Chitet Contarus.
Kunwadiniha, Kendarago, Doganis, Kunwadiniha, Kendarago, Chitet Kundatuns.
Gonwadiniha, Gondaragon, Doganis, Gonwadiniha, Gondaragon, Citet Gondados. Teotwetnuni.
Okay, so this is where Wire is going to read it all off. So everybody knows you got to keep your microphones on. Shut your microphones off.
Gonna go. Okay, ready? Are you ready, Edith?
It's not me, it's Adele.
Yes, ready, go ahead.
Okay, ganusesne na guardi got ni stansara tkunutus tkudinus sagwet neo. Within the longhouse, the mothers are identified as the authority, as they are the owners of the house. Ora aradixo ogun runa nagarato. Odinusku agotargo. Baby boys' songs are born into her house through her clan. Aguego exa ogun tkudun hetzerat kavos. Yudiranizo. Every child born, the life givers, is a song of creation. No, radixogo hua de sanagarata de ganusesne, de huanadonro yuhne unwe. When the male children are named, in the naming, they are carried by their uncle up and down the longhouse, and their name is shouted to creation. De wattiha nona gudixaogo uira. This does not have this to be done for the baby girls. De jattiha gudiksa ugunha. Yutkodako aldinagara serago radiksa ugo antunue runanagerado. The difference is the girls are the continuous power of the bloodline while the boys are born into it. Guadiniha got dargun, Doganis Guadiniha got dargun, Jit Gudun, Zidet Gudatus. They are borrowed or loaned to the clan through the exchange of things. That's it, I guess.
Okay, who's done the closing last week?
I get it.
Right here. Okay, didn't we do the closing based on the bowl game? Didn't we do that? Where was that done? Didn't you do the closing, Mary Cole?
No.
Within the last.
Janet raised her hand. I don't know why, but Janet raised her hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to have a special request to do the closing, and the reason is because I am in a grateful place right now. I'm not following tradition. I lost a cousin a few days back, and my isolation and my loneliness is so bad that I had to come on here today. So I hope I'm not being too personal, but that's the only way I know how to be with my life at this point.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, this is, if we were all together, we wouldn't be separated by this distance and technology. We would be seeing this within you. People would know, they would sense it. They would ask you, what's wrong? What's happening? And when seeing this, this is where that person who has an issue or something they're dealing with at the moment, then that is the person, the time that that person would rise to do the opening or the closing, or to have them do something else within the people, to have them feel their purpose, feel their need, their power. So yeah, that's perfect tonight. Go ahead, Janet, you do it. You do the closing tonight.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna try to say it in Kanienkeha, and if I don't use any of the original words, I'm gonna ask to forgive me ahead of time, because I just try to learn what I can, where I can, and eventually I figure I'll learn the old language. So, okay, so some of it I've memorized and some of it's gonna be read. Ona wagari wa nun donko nunwa wani sarade do wat otena sungwani gonre ise gini yanze wato sondaron agadi yodunhak nezewa nigunra Genjokwa zewa tahon yost ga nigari wisa. Tenjite wanwa ladon ne sunkwa yadinson ne gadi ne ohundon kari wadekwa engawa no hetsta Donio Dunhak ne onkonigunwa. Ogwego anska and didewa hununi ne onkonigunwa dano the yetini waladun ne onkwa honwe ne ogwego skana agahage di di onkwa de wari gado ohunjage de waderon dini Donio Dunhak ni onkwaniguna. Onska ogwego onska endi dewa hununi ni onkwaniguna dano the etini waladun de yonki ni staa je ji I yon hunjade neji segon da Dayako Gotka Wenhage G Naho Densun Dioni Wachni Skana Donio Dunhak ne Onkwaniguna Ogwego Anska and Didewa Hununi ne Onkwaniguna Dano Dietini Waraduns ne Gani Garunion Kania Daragoa Kania Dara Here Gisego Waduns Yonkwaha Dano Wensta Dano Enskara Giwe Ni Wahetka Kania no Ohunjage Donio Dunhak ne Onkwaniguna. I know I left some things out, so I do apologize. If you can put that in, I would appreciate that. And I just want to also say, gather our minds. Also, I don't believe I mentioned Nistaha Adesun. I'm Asundaneka Garakwa. So we thank our grandmother Moon also. Anyway, I tried my best. It's not that great, but thank you.
I think you did well.
There's only one problem. There's only one problem or one issue that I have with that. Is that this is the thing about learning things from different people. You actually pick up their way also. So when you pick up their way, then and when we're talking about Ohondagari Wadeko or the closing, that it has to be in order with creation. So using the word Songoyatism is the colonized version of when our people give thanks. Because then when we're giving thanks to a male creator when you say Songoyatism. So this is the reason why Kanienkeha never says Songoyatism. This is the Christianized version, the handsome Lakers who have brought that, adopted the white man's way of their God being male, and they transfer it over to our language. But when you do that, then just that one word clashes with every other part of our language. So you can't actually use Songoyatism in all the other words that you use because they actually clash. Now, anybody can use that and say it, and nowadays nobody will say anything. But if it's said in front of me and I catch it, then I'm going to say something. Songoyatism is not the terminology of the Kanienkeha. It's not the terminology of the Guyana Rasira Skanagoa. Songoyatism is an adoption of the white man's God, which is male. So for us, what we identify is Kanienkeha Class, those that created us, meaning that which came before us. This is our creator. So Sungoya Dizu is male. We don't say that. So this is entirely up to you now from this point as to what your way, what you want your way to be. So you got to think of this. If everything else that you're saying is female, 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 but then it all fits under this one word, which turns it all to male, then it's sort of like exactly what happens in the French language when you have a room full of women, 99 women in the room, they're called women. Put one male in there, and then all of a sudden, all of them are referred to as male. So this is for you. I will not tell you you have to do this. But if you want to be in order, what's going to go, then it is most definitely not the way it is. This is the Christian Hansen Lakers that adopted the white man's God. So for us, if the person doesn't like the term Kanienkeha Class, then maybe some other terminology can be, we could arrive at some other acceptable term, but it cannot be a term that identifies male, because that goes against everything that Guyana Rasa Skanagoa teaches us. We know that the female is first. So if you know that also, then for you or any woman to say Sungoya Dizu, it's actually like abominating your own line, your own bloodline. You're actually putting yourself under a male. And if we go back to what was just this class talking about the Aduma, then if you put yourself under the male, then you will be carried up and down the longhouse and your name shouted to creation. Where that role of what's exclusively for the life givers, where that does not have to be done for you, then this is what is being traded when you, a life giver, says, Sungoya Class, puts a male before her mother. So I'll say to you, don't do that. This is not our way. It's not the way of the Longhouse. It's not the way of the Great Law of Peace. It's not the way of the original peoples of Turtle Island. I know that this is something that has been overlooked today, by a lot of people. They don't even know what they're saying when they say Sungoya Class. They think they're just saying the creator or the great spirit or something like that. They don't realize that they're saying he's a male, that God, the creator, is a male. We don't say that here. Law does not distort creation. It does not distort reality. I don't know if there's, say within the actual words, if go ahead, Janet.
Oh, okay. Looks like you're frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Janet.
Oh, okay. I'm really grateful that you corrected me, Stuart, because actually I do know the word Kanienkeha Class, and I know what it means, and I do believe that that's the correct word to use. So I know you guys got to go, and I don't want to drag it out any longer, but thank you. Is he there?
Okay, we didn't get that. We got cut out. We don't know what happened there.
Oh, okay, I'll just repeat it real quick because I know you guys got to go. I have learned the word Kanienkeha Class, and when I didn't know that when I was reciting it that I had the word, the other word, the male word. So but also I appreciate you correcting me because I still am learning. So I'm like a little kid, like a baby. So if I get corrected, even if I know something, when I get corrected, then it gets better into my head. because I know that the old ways is, it's the truth. So now we're going, and I hope everybody has a good week.
Waiagiru, just for clarification, what I said to her about Yonki Adizu and Sungoy Adizu, is that correct? Sungoy Adizu identifies the creator as being male, right? Well,
Right.
Yonki
Right. Yeah. Well, when she said it, I because she said it so well, I didn't want to interrupt and say she made a mistake, but it was an error in the way we think, because you got a woman's nation, so you tear all that down when you say Sukoya Dizu, you'll eliminate the woman's nation and a lot of things. The life giver's power you take away, and that's what we're trying to give back.
Okay, so this is apparently the way it works out tonight is perfect. Even though it's not a good thing, it's a sad thing of the experiences you had this week, Janet, that it pushes you to come to this point of where you yourself identify that you want to do the closing. And just so happens that all of these things collide in the same place and time right now to have this truth come out, to rise out of, you can say, the pressure upon you this week squeezed that out of you. Now it's out of you. Now the truth, or the proper references, especially for a woman, a life giver, who when she's speaking about these so near the links, that it has to be the proper links. So if this turns out to be a very good thing, works out perfect. I know that now, tonight, and as you go on, that I know that this is going to help you. It's going to help to alleviate that stress or that sadness or whatever, in these other areas, because it's these other areas that made this happen now tonight. So it's a good thing. You may see that this person leaving you as a sad thing, but you look at what they've done for you. Just in this first little while of them being gone, they've helped you to this, which is, you can say, to the deepest point, to the depths of the core of your being. Okay, so everybody, now we'll go on. Very good class tonight. Okay, we'll see everybody. Well, tomorrow we got the reconstitution, and then Wednesday. So we'll see everybody.
Tanzita.
Sim, Deus.